Good, everybody? I'm Josh here from Hyped. I'm with Filmswave, and we're going over some of the crazier pieces that are actually in my collection right now.
Like it up, like it up, like it up, like it up. Yeah. Chill.
Filmswave, what the
My background is actually skateboarding, so for me, growing up with torn tees, pants, and shoes, that was just a daily for us. So now to see that type of vibe come back into the fashion industry, I mean, you're seeing it in the music industry, pretty much everyday life. Everyday individuals are rocking vintage t-shirts, that old distressed look, along with the shoes. I mean, for example, the Balenciaga Converse shoes that just came out. You know where that's inspired from. Some pieces that have got away from me. There's actually quite a few. One that comes to the forefront of my mind is the Pink Floyd "Wish You Were Here" T-shirt. It wasn't the one with the hands. It was actually the script written out on the back, "Wish You Were Here," which Travis Scott actually ran with. So to have the OG roots and see where a lot of nowadays artists and the generation nowadays is actually looking toward the past. Clothing and shoes is actually a big part of my daily life. I mean, I built a whole lifestyle around it, including the shop. Personally, I lean more toward dressing top to bottom. It's weird to say that considering I do own a shoe shop, but if you think about it, in most places you go, there's only two things you have to walk in those places, and that's a shirt and shoes. Then we come down to pricing. Pricing, whether it be with the shoes or whether it be with apparel in general. A lot of people are turned off by some of those pricing, but they really have to take into consideration the rarity of some of these things, whether it be the quantity of shoes or the overall rarity of the t-shirt. You got to think the quantity of these times when a t-shirt, say the 90s, was made, it's going to be very rare that you actually see another one walking around. So that's what's going to drive those prices up. And then on the shoe aspect, most of the time when the shoe drops, it's going to go down in value within the first month. But if you give it a little bit of time, you're going to see the quantity of those dead stock pairs actually is starting to be very limited, and that's what's going to drive that price up. So how I actually go out and find t-shirts is I'm looking high and low, and they're usually going to be in the areas that you least expect, whether it be Goodwill, any type of thrift store, your mom and pop stores, flea markets, you name it. One of the main things I'm looking for when I look for t-shirts is the tag as well as the stitching. I preferably lean toward the single stitch, just because you kind of know. You can feel, almost even smell the age of a t-shirt. And to find something gold in the wild, it's like you just hit the lottery. Out of all those tees, I actually have only a select few that I actually call my favorite. Let's go through those. Number one has to be my Nirvana t-shirt. This is the very first one I got when I opened up shop, I think within the first year. This is also how I realized and found out that the male seahorse actually carries the children. It's pretty wild. Always has to stay in the collection. Probably will be there for the rest of my life. Number two, this is one way to preserve the nostalgia with that Stone Cold Celebrity Deathmatch. Can't go wrong with that. Another one I just had to have in my collection. This piece right here, I actually searched for at least a year and a half, 2 years. Shout out my dude JD for hooking this one up. Has to be. Only one of these people can save you. Can you spot it? I mean, all the icons, the figures that are in here, but at the end of the day, there's only one. This one will remain in the collection as well. Number four is actually kind of like a two-piece. So this that 1-2. I'm missing one. I need the 1970s to complete the collection. But right here we have the 90 to 1999 unique moments, and this piece to the right is actually the 1990 version. Again, I'm missing that 70s, so if you happen to have that, go ahead and send it my way. Crazy detail, crazy history inside these two tees. And number five, another tee I looked for quite a long time. This Dior tee. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. That front and back. This is on that Anvil XL. Most of my tees are XL. You know how we do. This is really good detail, really good graphic. Again, unfortunately, none of these tees are for sale. These are just my, like, you know, everyday looksies. This is my collection. This one, it's not a crazy piece, but this is something like we grew up to, you know, bum fights. If you knew anything about bum fights, you were probably reckless as a child. You probably skateboarded. You probably were a nuisance. Bum fights, such a good one. Rufus. And we got, this is, man, you have to have this type of tee for Halloween. Any year. Every year. The Tales of the Crypt. I know for me and my brother, we used to stay up real late to try to catch this. You know, our parents weren't really cool with the rated R scene, so we had to sneak and watch all those type of things. But this is definitely one we did. Such a good piece. Another piece I actually let go of was the Elvis version of this on Vintage Wiz. I'll never forget that. I wish I did not do that. And last but not least, I had to do something local. Another Halloween piece, but it's definitely something downtown Greenville should totally think about bringing back. And this is this Trick or Treat on Main, 1992. It's a mullet. This is Greenville, South Carolina. The details, the history, this just lets you know that Greenville's been popping in its own way. And those, I would have to say, would be my favorite tees out of my stack. And to wrap it up, thank y'all for joining us. Just want to give a little shout out to my homie Bray. Shout outs to Filmswave. Filmswave Bray. You know what we do. We're making waves around here. If you don't already, go ahead and follow at Hyped Experience and keep a lookout for the Experiences by Hype page. We got a show coming up August 6th. We'll see you there.